Hi, Stampers. Welcome. Today is our first live of 2023. How exciting is that? Has everybody recovered from the holidays? Are we all ready to get back to stamping? I have gotten all my holiday stuff put away and I am prepping for celebration and our new catalog. And I am so excited, in fact, that we're using a new bundle on our card today. This Share a Milkshake bundle is in the new catalog that will go live on Thursday. So make sure you have your wish list already. And if it's a really long wish list, you're going to want to talk to me because I have a heck of a deal for you. This stamp set also has, like I said, it's a bundle. So we have coordinating dies. And the exciting news is the stamp set and the bundles have the same name. Now we know which things match together. And even though they do work separate, I mean, I never had a problem with it before because I use my dies outside the bundle all the time. But if you're wanting to keep things together and you want to be organized for the new year, that's a really good thing that they are labeled the same. The card we are making today is super cute. We're doing a center lift. It's a Valentine's Day card with a sundae on the front, and we're going to go ahead and make this today. And it's another one of those that's so quick and easy. We're going to be like done in 10 minutes. So we're doing two of them. We're going to do the same card twice in different color combinations so you can see a little bit of the versatility that goes with it. And then we're going to have another card on Thursday that's using the stamp set. I've got a third card for the class, and then there'll be 6 in the bundle that I'm going to sell for the tutorial. So lots and lots and lots of ideas to use with a brand new stamp set and dies. Let me move you down to the desk where you can get a better look at this adorable card. So here it is, and I have all my pieces cut out for the card itself, and then we're going to stamp the sundae, and we'll be die cutting some pieces that go with that. But you just need a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's a standard a lot of the time. Then we're going to have this piece that's going to go in the middle, and this piece is 2 3/4 by 4. And we have 2.5 by 3 3/4. Now I did that twice because I want one on the inside, one on the outside. So they will coordinate. Then I will have these strips on the side, and we're going to come in and we're going to cut at 1 1/4. So I made this one 1 by 4, and this one is 3/4 by 3 3/4, and one for either side. So simple pieces, right? Welcome, everyone. I see you all signing in. Make sure that you type in hashtag prize patrol so that you can enter into the drawing to win today's card. Perfect, but run it together as all one word. Hashtag prize patrol, no spaces. And the computer catches them, so that's why it has to be spelled correctly, because you know how computers are. They're a little bit funky. They want everything specific. But I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And this being a nice narrow measurement, it's nice that I can use either the 1 1/4 on this side or the 1 1/4 on that side. Either one. It is going to be on both sides, but we're going to measure that up. And then we're going to cut up to that middle score line at that 4 1/4. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Uh-oh, I'm getting notifications. I apologize if it's making noise. Usually I have the do not disturb on. Doesn't sound like it's working. Okay, there we go. Everybody's typing it in correctly. Yippee! So who's got their wish list ready? Have you been pawing through that new catalog that I mailed out to you? Making your wish list of things that you want, because Thursday's the day. That's when you can go shopping. And I so appreciate those of you who purchase from me. And I have that monthly tutorial that I give out every month. This month, it's going to be on another new bundle. Our tutorial bundle as my thank you gift is on this new sweet citrus. So this is a brand new bundle, and it comes with, of course, dies, but also dies and an embossing folder. And it's one of those that you can set the die inside the embossing folder and run it through, and it will cut and emboss at the same time. Super fun. Okay, so there we go. So there I've cut off my two sides, and now we can fold on that score line. Sorry, I need to bring in my little emery board idea here because I've got some little fuzzies. Must need to clean my track because I know it doesn't need a new blade. I know I tell you guys this all the time, but it's usually because I run into the problem that it's not cutting well. But what I do is I take a piece of cardstock and I stick it down in here and run it down, and it always picks up like little fuzzy things, and those being in the track will make it not cut really clean. So keep your track clean, especially if you're going to be on camera. We do have an online catalog. It's not available yet. We can't show it to people until it goes live. I don't know why you can't look at it when you can't buy, but by Stampin' Up rules, we're not allowed to share it until January 5th. So if you're on my mailing list, you'll get it, the links on the mailing list in my newsletter. That's the word I wanted. So hopefully you're there. Also, I'll pop it up on the page, make sure that you're on my Stampin' Up pages on Facebook. It's a Thursday, so we'll be going live. I'll have the link for you then as well. And when you order from me, you automatically get the new catalogs every time there's one released. So all of my customers should have them in their hand. So Judy, if you order from me, you'll get the next catalog for free ahead of time. Printed. Okay, so here's our card base that we were working with. And like I said, we're going to put this here. And so I'm going to, you saw I cut that off, right? I cut up here and then I cut that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere these together. And so I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue. You could also use Stampin' Seal. This just happened to be what was handy. I think Seal is probably my favorite adhesive, but the liquid glue also gives you that wiggle room. If you're one of those that needs a little extra time to make sure your layers are straight and even, then you might want to use liquid glue. And remember, you don't need much. This is very effective. And if you use too much, it's going to be wet and it's going to make the paper warp, and that's not going to make for a very pretty card. So very light. I know it looks like I'm putting a lot on, but I'm really not. Those little lines are super skinny, and that's probably even too much. I have a gal in class that will take and do that, and then she'll put the two of them together. So it's on both. And then that's actually enough adhesive to put it on both sides. So you get a lot of bang for your buck when you use the liquid glue. A little high. Okay, then we're going to put our Coastal Cabana layer on. The base is Bermuda Bay, and then this is Coastal Cabana. And both of those colors are in this designer series paper that I'm using on the side. And if you're wondering where that paper came from, it's a freebie. It's one of the things available with an order during Celebration. They have this awesome pack of paper. It is 48 sheets, which is a lot. That's how many we normally get in like a 6x6, but these are 12x12. And they come in so many pretty patterns, and they're very versatile. They're very spring, kind of almost pastel-y colors, and some really cute patterns. So these would be great for Easter and for birthdays and all that fun stuff coming up for spring. And of course, it's all double-sided, so lots of pretty patterns on the back. If you are interested, I do have my paper shares going on right now, and there's a good chance that you would get a little sampling of that. We cannot, by Stampin' Up! Rules, we're not allowed to offer the freebies from Celebration as part of our paper share, but we're allowed to give them away. So if you're looking for either swatch books or just a sampling, like a 6x6 of every new paper in the catalog, you might want to check out my paper shares. And they are on my website, queenbeecreations.net. Okay, I'm going to bring out the stamps we're going to use. We're going to be using this two-step stamping with the, what would that be? Kind of ice cream glass. And then we've got our little spoon that we're going to add. We're going to have our ice cream scoop. And then we have a cherry. So that'll be the outside. And then inside I have these little hearts. And there was a saying, "Be my Valentine." So this has Valentine's Day, celebrate, life is sweeter with you, you're the cherry on top. This is the detail that goes on top of the small ice cream. And then this would be a 2-layered straw. So lots of fun stuff. And of course, we want to try to use the blocks that are closest to the size. And normally I will put my words on a grid line and then use the block to pick it up. And if the words are on the grid line and then my block is on the grid line, then they're going to be straight. That's the theory. Okay. But I found this to be the best way to pick up the stamps or put them on blocks, is to let the photopolymer sit on the surface and just pick its natural shape. If you have something in a curve and you want to, on purpose, make it bend, you can do that. You can lay it down on the block and warp it a little. But that's not always what we want. If we want it to have the natural shape, then it's usually best to set it on the surface and pick it up with the block. Okay, for this one, we're going to use the ice cream. Gosh, the Designer Series paper is the new one that's in our Celebration brochure. It is one that is free. It's a large pack of 48 sheets, 4 each of 12 double-sided designs, and it's free with a $100 purchase because it's 48 12x12. And it uses some yummy spring colors, balmy blue, calypso coral, fresh freesia, granny apple green, mango melody, and petal pink. And we're using Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay as our base. I'm going to come in with some, let's see, here's a basic gray and smoky slate for our, what would we call this, a fountain glass? So I'm going to go ahead and ink up, and I'm going to bring it down a little, because I felt like it was kind of high and that I couldn't get the stem on my cherry and still make it fit into the envelope. And we want it to go in an envelope, right? Okay. So these are two-step stamping, so it's best if you can look straight down from the top. So hopefully I'm getting this. Yeah, not great, but you'll notice I got a much better edge here when I could look down on it. Because I'm at an angle with the camera, it's a little bit off, but nobody but me is going to know that, right? Okay, then for our inside, we're going to do the little hearts in real red and our saying in Bermuda Bay. And then our hearts. It's a fun stamp set for kids, but I also think it's a fun stamp set for seniors because, you know, those of us that are older remember the days when we could actually like go to a soda fountain and they would actually serve these to you. Okay, so this is ready to go inside. Oop. Some little strings. Come on. Yeah. Okay, now for this one, I'm going to want to stamp some ice cream and then die cut it. So I'm going to do that onto scraps of basic white. So it will be easy to die cut. And then I wanted to do a kind of Neapolitan look. So I have polished pink for our strawberry. I have So Saffron for our vanilla. And then I have soft suede for our chocolate. And so I'm going to do that with this larger kind of, I don't know, cloud shape, but this is our ice cream. And that's kind of too yellow. So I'm going to stamp it again. I don't know what I'll do with the deep yellow. I might end up just tossing it, but the lighter looks more vanilla to me. So that's what we call a second generation stamping. And we would go ahead and clean this off. This is our Simply Chamois. I just cut mine in fourths. And then we have our pink. And I'm doing two because there's the second one I'm going to be making in some different colors. Clean this again, and then we need our chocolate. Okay, and we have our cherry. So we'll do this in real red. And then our spoon, let's do in basic gray. Okay, so now we're ready to do some die cutting. Now, I'm going to be using a new die cutting machine. This is our standard, or this is the mini size, but it's the cut and emboss machine that we've had for a while in white. And now it's in what they're calling boho blue, and they're teasing us saying that this is a new in color that will come out in the annual catalog that we will get in May. Fun new color, and this is available to Stampin' Up! Demonstrators who are demonstrator now, or if you wish to sign up, instead of paying the $63, you can add it to your kit for just $30. So they have this special deal going on where for $99, you normally get $125 worth of stuff, which is a good deal, and it gets free shipping. But they're going to bump that up and make it $175 for just the $99. And then you can add this for $30. So for $129, you're going to get your $63 mini cut and emboss machine in either white or blue, and you're going to get that $175 worth of product. So definitely a fantastic deal for those of you with a long wish list thinking you had to pare down. Maybe not. Maybe we can just get you a heck of a deal and you can get what you want. Oh, that's on the front of our card. We don't want that one. Okay. So we're cutting out our ice cream scoop. See, I got all excited about the deal and forgot what I was doing. And some of you have seen in the past, I've used my mini machine and it's had some trouble grabbing the plates. It's been a little, I'll confess, it's been embarrassing that it doesn't grab the plates. And I've always said, okay, well, fine. Maybe it's just the mini machine. I like my bigger machine better. It functions better. But I got this one and it cuts like a dream and it always grabs the plates. So I called Stampin' Up! And I said, hey, how come this blue one works so much better than my white one? And they said my white one's defective. So even though I bought it quite some time ago, they're mailing me a new one. And I'm going to mail this one back, and they're going to talk to their manufacturer and say, hey, we have some defective machinery out here. Knock it off. But I get a new one for free, and the new white one's going to cut like this one. So that's exciting. That means I work for a really great company that cares about us and wants us to have stuff that works. That's why we don't have our magnetic plates. As much as I'm bummed about not having the magnetic plates, the reason we don't have them is because Stampin' Up! Has such a great policy about making sure that we have the best product out there, that they don't want to release something that they can't get their manufacturer to make work properly. So as much as it's a bummer, it's a good thing. Okay, and I'm just cutting out these lighter ones. This is the second generation stamping because I think the first generation is just too yellow, even for vanilla. And I'm using So Saffron. That's the lightest yellow we have. So it should be good and light, but not light enough. Okay. So I'm just running everything through for both cards. So we're just playing with our die cutting once. So I apologize if this is taking longer than it normally does. Probably should have had one set cut out in advance, but I wasn't thinking until I started cutting out all my pieces for the card and thought, this isn't going to take very long. And yes, I do try to keep my videos short because I know you guys want to get to the point, but that doesn't mean that I want it to be over before you even find out I'm live and get online, right? I know occasionally some of you guys get the notifications a little late. Although you can get them right on time if you turn on notifications. If you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, there's a little bell that you can use that will have it alert you when I go live so that you don't miss me. Okay, one more. We have our little spoons and then we should be done. And I guess if I wasn't talking, I would have been thinking better. And I could have put down the die for the cherry, the ice cream, and the spoon and ran it through once. So don't forget you can do that. Okay, one more. So now we're all done with our wobbling. Okay. I'm all like cattywampus. Okay. Back to our card. So, like I said, I cut out a chocolate, a vanilla, and a strawberry. And there was a smaller stamp in here that we could have used for another scoop on top. Or there's actually a smaller die, which I found kind of fun. These ones here, they don't have stamps, but they're just the die cuts. And this one fits right on top and looks like hot fudge. And then this one would look like whipped cream on top of that. So super fun ideas. We're going to be doing that on Thursday. So here is our die cut hot fudge and whipped cream in a waffle cone. Okay, they also have a little bit of a slit in them, and that's so that you could either stick the spoon or the straw right into your ice cream and make it look like they're already eating it. So let's do that with this one. So I'm just putting a little bit of tear and tape on there to make sure it's held in place. And then this one will go direct onto our, let's see, we're going to go the other way. We're going to start this way. We're going to put our chocolate down first because I want that on the bottom. And think about this for a minute. We're going to go chocolate, vanilla, and then strawberry. And then because I moved this down, we should have room to put our cherry on top. And I offset them a little bit this time because it dawned on me that normally it doesn't stack perfectly straight. Normally ice cream is kind of, alternating. Okay, so the cherry is just the perfect size to use a glue dot. So there it is in our blues, and we can quickly do this in some alternating colors. I brought in another card base. This one is in fresh freesia. Again, we're just talking 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have petal pink, the inside, and this is 4 inches by 2 3/4. This is 3 3/4 by 2.5. I have inside and outside of our card. And then I had the side pieces. These are 1 inch by 4 inch. And these are 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch. Well, somebody over on Facebook, I don't know who it is because I just see user, said that they couldn't get onto YouTube. I don't know what's going on over there because I definitely have people watching on YouTube, so it's working. And if you came on late, that's totally fine because we are redoing the same card in different colors. So this is the card we're making, and we're doing it in these colors. We're going to come in and cut down the side at 1 1/4. And I'm cutting up to the score line at the 4 1/4 here. And then I'm coming in with either the trimmer or paper snips, but we're going to snip off these pieces here. And I'm cutting just to this side of the score line so that the entire score line goes with it, because we don't want that. The other option is if it was just cut up, I have occasionally just glued these down. So you can just glue them and have this still pop up and down. But this time I went ahead and cut them off. So these are just layered on top of each other. And then these are on either side. This time I'm using the polka dots. But you know, the cubes that we used on our first card, they also have those available in these colors. So I could have used the same cubes, but we went polka dots just to be different because I like to show you guys variety. Yes, there are. That was fun to see. At one point, we did offer stamp sets where you had your choice of photopolymer or red rubber. I think it was right when photopolymer first came out. And they're offering it again on 5 different stamp sets in this new catalog. And if I have my choice, especially since this time they're the same price. They used to charge us a little extra for the red rubber because there's more to them in manufacturing. I think that's kind of why photopolymer came out, not only because they're good for lining up on each other, but they're less expensive to manufacture. Now, if I have something like this where I need to go one on top of the other, I prefer photopolymer. But I'm weird. I don't like the fact that they stain. So when they start turning a little pink, they bug. And that's just me because it doesn't matter. They still stamp perfectly fine. But I don't like it. And the other thing is when you're stamping with red rubber, you have cushion to them. So when you stamp with these, there's a little bit of give here in the foam that helps give you a better impression. As you press down on it, it makes sure that all of the red rubber actually touches your cardstock. When you don't have that, you need to have something underneath. And so that's why I'm stamping on the foam mat under here, because that's giving me that cushion that I need. If I was trying to stamp directly on the countertop or my desktop here without any kind of give, then it may not hit all the way across. And we definitely don't want that. You'll even notice when you're stamping with the Stamparatus, you have to put the little foam piece in there, not just for thickness, but also to get your best impression. So I know, really long answer, But I prefer the red rubber unless we're layering. If I need to layer, then obviously being able to see through it is helpful. Okay, so I just went ahead and layered my pieces on there. Now we can get to some stamping. So we're going to do the same thing with our fountain glass. I'm going to stamp in Smoky Slate. With the solid piece, and then we're going to go over it with Basic Gray. And I'm going to try to line it up. There we go. I said before, it's best if you can stamp straight down, looking straight down from the top. That gets you the best alignment, but you don't want to see the top of my head. So yeah, definitely more detail with the red rubber. Okay, so now we just need to layer up our ice cream for the outside. So when I cut out my little scoops of ice cream here, it has the little opening for the spoon. So I went ahead and stuck that in there. And then we have our cherry for the top. And then for the inside, I'll bring out another different sentiment for this one. The first one was a Valentine's Day card. This one, we're just going to say you're the cherry on top, and that can mean whatever. So you can use this card for different occasions other than just Valentine's Day. And where'd my cherry go? Here we go. Okay, so there's the inside of that one. So in our short time here, we have created 2 cards. Both have the center lift to them, both using that free pack of designer series paper from Celebration and a brand new stamp set from the January to April catalog. So those of you who are my customers, I keep saying when you order from me, I make sure that you get all of your catalogs for free. I know what I'm doing on Thursday. I actually know what I'm doing through the end of the month. How exciting is that, right? I got planned ahead in December, but this is the one we're doing on Thursday, and it looks pretty simple on the outside, basic card, but when you pop it open, we have a little surprise pop-up in the corner. So You're going to want to come back on Thursday to watch me make that card. And we're ready for Prize Patrol. Does everybody have that typed in? I need you to type in hashtag Prize Patrol, all one word, no spaces. Thank you. Yeah, I have a card rack in the back. It's actually doesn't have very many cards in it right now because there were so many sales, like craft fairs over the holidays, that I kind of hauled it all over town with me at various craft fairs. And now that we have the new catalog, I'm like refilling it with cards from our new catalog and pulling out all the retired. But yes, very fun. I actually have 4 of them, 3 white ones and that one. Okay, we got another Prize Patrol. Okay, so we're ready to draw. If you win this, I'm going to need you to go to my website, and up in the bar where it says queenbeecreations.net, right below that is this month's host code. When you order, make sure you use the host code. That triggers me to send you the PDF of the month that you get for free. It's a tutorial of 6 full cards using, this month it's going to be Sweet Citrus, which is a new bundle with an embossing folder that has a die cut that fits in it. They go through together and do both in one shot. And in the address bar, like I said, if you're a winner, after that queenbeecreations.net, you're going to put / and then Prize Patrol, and that's going to take you to our form where you give me your address so that I can keep track of who I have sent them to, and I know where to mail it. So there we go. There's our winner for today. Congratulations. Again, go to the form, fill out the Prize Patrol claim form, and I will pop that in the mail to you. And then you're going to want to come back on Thursday when we make another card using the Share a Milkshake that has a little center pop-up. So I will see you on Thursday. Thanks. Bye.